Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 9 of Pentacles. This is the card of gain. This is the card of receiving abundance. Yeah. I think that you're somebody who is tuned into the frequency of receiving. I think that you're someone who likes to see the progress that you're making. You know, like you like to see the milestones. You're somebody that needs some kind of a physical, tangible sign of progress. You like to see the needle move. You like to see the line going up and to the right. It's reinforcement. It feels good, right? It's kind of disheartening when we put in so much work into what we're doing, but we don't feel like any progress is being made. Yeah. I think that you're somebody who is seeing progress. You're paying attention to how you are making progress in your life on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and the spiritual, creative aspects of life. Okay? Everything is connected there. I think you're somebody who, I don't know if are you expecting some kind of payment? I feel like you're waiting for some kind of payment to come in, or some kind of confirmation, or I don't know, something like you've put the energy out there and now it's just a matter of it coming back. Okay, like you've sent the invoice, you're just waiting for the customer to pay you, like that sort of thing. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. To me, this is somebody who is living a successful life. Okay, doing all the right things. There's your Virgo power card, the Hermit card. Okay, it may be Spirit's way of saying, keep your head down, keep doing the work you're doing. Keep paying attention to how your life is growing, and don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let anything distract you. But let's keep going. Let's put the rest of our cards down. We have an Ace of Pentacles, an Ace of Swords, a 10 of Wands, and 8 of Wands. Okay. Over here we have a Knight of Swords. We have the Empress energy. We have a Hanged Man. We have a High Priestess. Wow, you got like all the good cards here. Holy smokes, you do. You have, you have the Surrender, which is what your intuition is calling on right now. I think that, you may feel like your progress is a little stuck. Okay, I think that you're getting to the end of a particular protocol, method, a particular part of your path, where doing the same things you've been doing aren't giving you the same kind of progress. So this is a matter of not an ending and a beginning, really, but learning how to continue the cycle on, by making some changes, right? So we have a 10 of Wands here, but we have an Ace as well, right? An Ace of Pentacles. So to me, it feels as if it's just a matter of realizing when a certain technique, let's say you're at the gym, you're lifting a certain kind of weight, you're doing a certain kind of exercise, and it's not working anymore. You're not getting any stronger. You're not seeing the muscles getting bigger. You're not seeing the weight go down or whatever. And so we realize that I'm not making progress anymore. Does that mean you just go harder in what you're doing? Sometimes, maybe. I feel like this is Spirit's way of telling you that more is not going to be better. What we need is a pivot, a little switch. We need to change that. We need some diversity. It's kind of like saying, go do a different kind of exercise. not leave the gym and go do something else, but how do you get creative and change things just enough to then stimulate the growth again? Okay? So I think it's important that we look at our 10 and our ace. Let's select the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Jimbo, the Lizard King, aka Mr. Lizard, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana energies. We've got fire. You don't have any water. We've got air and air. And we've got a couple of earth cards. Okay. So it's interesting that there's no water energy. And that could in part be an indication that something right now is in need of a little bit of a alternation. Not a change, not like a full-on, gotta put this down, do something else, but that we might need something else that sparks the feeling. So it's not saying it's not even saying go to a different gym. It's not saying quit going to the gym at all, quit exercising. It's not saying give up on your path. It's saying, how do we tweak things just a little bit? How can you get creative to get that spark back, to get that feeling back, to get the love back in it? Okay, now I'm motivated again. We've just been doing something for so long that it maybe is starting to feel a little monotonous, starting to feel as if you're kind of burning out on this particular method or technique or a particular practice. Okay? It's not saying to abandon the practice or abandon your goal, but to make just some little tweaks here and there in order to get that motivation, to get that fire back, make it fun again. And that, I think, will bring in the water energy. That'll bring in the love, the excitement, that good, warm, fuzzy feeling. And that will bring in more growth and more success. Doesn't matter what you're doing, if this is a physical or financial goal, health or wealth, if this is something to do with your career or an art form or a skill, a sport, a practice that you're doing, if it's something in your spiritual work, if it's a relationship, maybe it is a relationship, who knows? But the idea here with the Hermit may be that we need to sort of step off the trail a little bit, that the path that you're on is kind of like you're on the treadmill, doing a lot of work and getting nowhere, right? And so it may just be that we need a little bit of a switch. So the Hermit is, of course, your power card. You're very good at this. You're very good at going off trail. You're very good at deviating just slightly from the norm. And that sparks tremendous growth. Not big movements right now. Not these big, huge change tower events in life. No. Little micro tweaks, little changes here and there. Change, the color of your socks. Change the window that you're looking out of. Change the music you got playing, right? Make small changes that will help to spark that interest, the love, that will get that sense of progress and movement back. Yeah, because sometimes, especially with a 9 of Pentacles here, sometimes it could feel like the road is too smooth. We get that highway hypnosis. Okay, we start to kind of fall asleep or we get bored. Maybe it's boredom. We start to feel just exhausted. When I'm in the car and it's just a straight freeway, I just start to feel so tired. I'm bored. I want to be done already. For a couple of reasons. One, because you can't really tell that you're getting anywhere because it's just straight. It's like we're not even moving. It's in the bumps. It's in the twists and turns. It's in the fluctuations of speed. It's in the other things that kind of make you wake you up a little bit. You change the music, the change of scenery, start a conversation. You know, the road twists, and maybe you say, I'm going to take the off-ramp here. We're going to go take a couple of back roads. We're going to make a pit stop, whatever it is. The hermit is the answer, getting off trail. Because we get that smooth, steady road, and we start to just get tired, we get sleepy, we start to feel exhausted more. There's nothing that's really, you know, arousing us. There's nothing that's going to keep us awake. And the worst thing to do when you're driving is to get sleepy, right? We know that, common sense. So this isn't necessarily Spirit's way of saying, go take a pit stop, go rest somewhere. A little bit, I think, of that. But more than that, it's a way for you to go off trail a little bit. You know, you think of it as the extreme. You're on that flat highway, smooth, you're getting tired. What happens if you just were to drive off the road and it's bumpy and here you are on the cornfield or something, right? And you're going to be awake, right? So that's one way to do it. I don't recommend it though, because that's not really going to be progress. It'll wake you up, sure, it'll be exciting, but it's missing those other factors of like joy and, you know, abundance and success and gain. You're not gaining anything from that. But the hermit does have a little bit of the answer, because it is saying continue doing what you're doing, stay on the path, keep your goals in mind and keep working hard, but tweak things a little bit. Get off the main road a little bit in order to wake yourself up, bring in some fresh energy, get inspired again, get that love back again, get that good fuzzy feeling again. Okay? And so that's our hermit. The hermit's the one that's sort of going off trail, and I think that's something you're very good at, is to deviate from what's gotten too familiar. I think when things are getting a little bit too predictable, or things are getting a little bit too familiar and too calm and too smooth, you tend to want to shake things up a little bit. Now, the point here is that you're shaking things up in the right way, that it's going to increase your productivity, increase the progress that you're making. It's like at the gym. You're not going to go and start some drama. You're going to say, well, how do I surprise myself a little bit? I know, I'll go do a different machine. I'll go work out some different kind of muscles, or instead of just lifting the weights, I'll do some other kind of exercise that will surprise my body a little bit, and it'll wake my body up, it'll stimulate more growth. So that's what you're looking for here. And that's the Eight of Wands. This is that stimulation. Okay, this is something that's going to wake you up, arouse your heart, something that's going to, kind of snap you back into consciousness, something that's going to surprise your body in order to facilitate the growth, to stimulate more growth. This is that card of stimulation. This is an electrical firing. This is a big flash in the pan. It's like that. It's the first sizzle when you put your food in the saute pan. You know, you got your avocado oil heating up. You put your broccoli in there. It starts to sizzle, and that's when you're really into it. Yeah, it's a card of excitement. It's a card of novelty, a novel moment. It's stimulus response. Okay, so you're looking for a way to stimulate more growth in whatever you're doing, more progress, more gains, right? And so it's really about switching things up, and you'll know what these things are when you find them, because they're going to feel exciting. It's going to feel stimulating. It's going to feel different, where you got to pay attention a little bit. The Ace of Pentacles under the surface is exactly that. It's kind of like we've been stuck at a Nine of Pentacles for a long time. You're ready for that final capstone, you know. It's like that last little bit is just the hardest part to accomplish. And I think that we need to change the stimulation a little bit. Change of scenery, change the music, change the color of your socks, you know, that sort of thing. Put yourself in a different environment, just a small shift, a small realignment. Rearrange the furniture. Put your desk on the other side of the room. Sleep on the other end of the bed. Or, you know what I mean, do something just slightly different. That's going to change things just enough to spark the creativity, to spark the progress and the movement. Because that Ace of Pentacles is that kind of, is that feeling that the final step here is the hardest one to get. It's the last couple of pounds that are the hardest to lose. It's the, it's that the last few dollars are the most difficult to earn. Okay. The Ace of Swords in the background here, this is a card of clarity, card of certainty. This is a card of knowing the truth. This is the card of having a mission. Yeah. So I think that this is, in a way, your commitment. I think that this is your certainty and your mission statement. This is your belief about what you're doing, but not necessarily having the whole plan figured out. Okay? You know what you want to cook. You know what you want it to taste like. You know what it should look like. Right? It's the seed of an idea. It's the seed of a plan. You know what you want your food to look like and taste like. You know what it's supposed to look like and taste like. But you don't know the recipe. Okay? So this is that kind of that origination point. And I think that what you're doing is you're sort of figuring it out as you go. You didn't go into this having a step-by-step plan. You do this, then this, then this, then this. You're at the point now where it's just like, okay, you're kind of stirring the pot and you're thinking, gosh, what goes in here next? You know? And it's a little bit improv. It's a little bit like remembering what it's supposed to look like and what it could possibly need now. What is the next step? Well, this is going to be the next step for you. Okay. And so, I like this card because it, it shows it's a seed. It's a seed of a plan, a seed of an idea. It hasn't yet evolved, hasn't yet become what it's supposed to become. But I think it's certainty in the sense that you know what it's supposed to look like. Okay. And here you are, I think, almost at the very end of something. You're kind of at the end of your energy, right? We have the feeling here with the Ten of Wands. I believe it feels like something's blocking you. It feels like that last little bit is just the hardest to get past. It's like you're trying to do that last little thing, and you're pushing as hard as you can, but it just won't budge. Okay, it's almost diminishing returns. It's kind of, in this sense, the harder you try, the less it's working. So we realize that's not just about like doing more reps. It's not just about lifting heavier weights. That it's maybe like changing something else, changing the way you're moving. Okay, I don't think it's so much about, well, I guess maybe it is a little bit about changing the speed. Okay, because we have, of course, we go from a 10 to an 8. It feels like a reduction. We also have this Empress in the environment, which may say that maybe you do need to slow down a little bit. Maybe by slowing down and nurturing other aspects of your life, you'll find a lot more progress in this particular aspect. Because remember, everything is interconnected with that 9 of Pentacles. The physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative. It could be that Spirit is asking you to put some of your effort into some other aspect of your life. And you will see that focus brings about a renewed, maybe interest, or brings in some very needed progress in this other aspect of your life. It's kind of like you're trying to make some progress with your physical health, but you've hit a wall or you've reached a plateau or you feel that there's some blockage. Maybe it's saying go focus on your relationships with your friends, And then by doing that, by maybe distracting yourself a little bit, focusing on other things that are important. See, when I think of distractions, I think that those are unimportant things taking you away from what is truly important. So this isn't a distraction, right? This is you focusing on other things that are important, okay, as a way to come back to this other thing with a kind of a refresh. Yeah. And so the Ten of Wands is an exhausting kind of energy. Feels like you've been putting in a lot of work, and now the progress isn't really there. Okay, and so it may literally be saying that we need a pause. We could need a pit stop into this Empress energy. not making as much progress because you're hungry for something else. There's some other part of you that needs a little bit of nourishment. Okay? And so this might be a card that literally is saying slow down. Saturn and Sagittarius, there could be a kind of slow down, take your foot off the accelerator a little bit. Okay? That change in the speed will make you feel the motion. You know, it doesn't matter how fast you're going. If the speed is constant, you don't feel it. If you were to slow down a little bit, then, whoa, okay, I feel it. Or you speed up a little bit more and you feel it. I don't think you can speed up any more than you already are. I don't think you can go any harder or any faster. So the only alternative is to turn the car or to slow down a little bit. Yeah. And I think that the Eight of Wands really is suggesting any of those options. Any direction is better than here. You can turn, you can go faster or slow. I don't think you actually physically can go any faster or harder, or with more effort. But any direction is going to be better than continuing the way you've been going. Okay? It's kind of, to me, it feels like that diminishing returns. It feels like the more effort you put in, the further away becomes this final step, the final stage, or the capstone. So this card is literally saying, anywhere but here. Change any other little thing. Just do not keep things exactly how they are. And I believe it's asking you to focus on other areas of your life that need attention. Not as a way of ignoring this or avoiding this, but as a way of augmenting this, to make this even better. Okay. I feel like you're the kind of person that you skip the celebration, right? You just kind of jump to the next responsibility without any kind of a pause. I feel that, in a way, that's kind of what this is, that it's just, it's kind of bringing out that shadow aspect to remind you that well, maybe that's kind of your impulse right now, is to say, this isn't fun anymore. I need to go do something else. And Spirit wants you to embrace that a little bit, but to recognize that this isn't about abandoning what you're doing, but yes, maybe to do a little something else, change things in small ways so that you can continue and you can maybe finish what you're doing here and not just abandon it because it's not exciting anymore. Because we could look at the cards this way too, that perhaps we had an expectation, we feel like we've reached a plateau, and part of your instinct is to literally just go off trail and start something else and just abandon this altogether, get off the road entirely. Spirit doesn't want you to get off the road. Okay? Spirit wants you to do whatever you need to do in order to finish this road, to stay on this road. Okay, so I hope that we understand that the kind of the distinction there. Yeah, the distinction there. I think you're somebody that likes beginnings. You like the excitement of beginning, right? Which, I mean, that's what we have here. The beginning of a path, it feels very exciting. We're very motivated. It feels good. Here, we don't have any water energy anymore. It doesn't feel good now. It just feels like work. Spirit wants you to follow through. Be aware of that shadow quality that you have. Okay? The water's gone. You're exhausted. It's drying up. We haven't finished this project because, well, it's not fun anymore. And because it's not fun and because it's been so repetitive, you feel like you're not making any progress, so you're saying, okay, screw it. I'm going to go do something else. I think that you can use that shadow not as a weakness, but as a strength. It doesn't have to be an enemy. It can be an ally. It's saying, yeah, maybe go do something else, refresh yourself, focus on some other aspects of your life, but don't abandon this path. Okay, you want to follow through with this. You want to complete whatever this project is. Okay. Now, the path of the serpent, we're going to talk about these cards. The Knight of Swords as your general energy. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The Knight of Swords is usually somebody that rushes into something. Sometimes, now, it's like a shadow quality, sometimes rushes into something without having a plan. Don't always need one. Sometimes it's just going to do it, I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm going to improvise. It's going to be fun, right? Until it's not fun. This is, I think, somebody that needs to follow through. You need to see something through until the end and not completely abandon it before you're finished with it. Okay? This is the Knights. Well, all the Knights of the Tarot are about how you begin something. And sometimes this can be a card that needs a plan. Okay? Needs to see that there are certain steps that we take and that there will be an ending. Right now, it may feel like with that Nine of Pentacles that there's no end. That it's exhausting, grueling, unrewarding work that isn't really even progressing anymore, not in a way that is pleasurable. Okay? And we may not have an end game. We may not have a real marker or a designation of where the finish line is, which then would sort of bring out the shadow of the Eight of Wands, and we would want to just abandon what we're doing and run in any other direction that's going to be exciting. We're just going to chase some more novelty here. So I think it's very important that you do, maybe even with this Knight of Swords, assign an ending. Establish the end zone. When you're playing touch football with your friends in the middle of the street, when you're 10 years old, you gotta say, okay, that light post over there, that's the end zone. Otherwise, how do you know? I used to do that as a kid. Oh, we didn't play touch football though. We played tackle football on the street. It was rough. You have to have some kind of designation of where the boundaries are. You say, okay, the sidewalk is out of bounds. That light post over there, that's the end zone. The other end zone is going to be the corner of the street. It's not smart, because then the end zone is the intersection, and it seems dangerous now that I think about it. It probably wasn't a good idea. But you need to have some kind of markers, some agreed upon thing that says, that's my goal here. When I reach that, that's going to be, celebration. Yes, I did it. I reached my goal. Then you can kind of decide what you want to do after that. If you don't have a goal, then you just kind of keep going, and what? How is that, going to affect you? If it's a physical health thing, maybe it's a certain weight, you want to reach a certain weight. Maybe it's a dollar amount, you want to reach a certain dollar amount. What is enough? What is the goal that when you reach it, you can say, I did it, huzzah, hooray, I did it, and we celebrate. And then you can kind of say, well, do I want to keep going? Do I want to do that again? Do I want to have another goal? Or do I want to just go do something different? I think that's kind of where we are right now. And I think that's why there's this impulse to go abandon this and do something else, because this is just a never-ending path that you're on. But I believe that going and doing something else for a time, making small shifts, are really going to help you. Maybe we need a little bit of a detour at the moment, just for now, so that we can, kind of come back into ourselves and maybe spend a minute thinking, where is the end zone for you? What is the goal that you're defining? So that you can come back to this, you can finish it up, and you can feel good about that. We can have that celebration, yeah. The Empress in the environment, this shows in some ways how much you've been bleeding, sweating, and crying for this thing, okay? And how you might even be feeling that it's not rewarding you. You're somebody that likes to see the progress. Well, what happens if you're not making progress anymore? What happens if you're in, it's kind of like in a video game where you get to a certain part of the map or a certain part of the gameplay area, and your character, you can keep pushing the button and your character will keep running, but the map's not changing because that's as far as they built the game, but the character will still be running. And so it feels like you're on that treadmill. It's like your character keeps running to the right, but there's no more game that way. That's kind of what this feels like. It feels like we have to realize that, okay, hey, look, this was the end. This was the end zone. This is as far as you were able to go in that direction. You have to define that in such a way that you can celebrate it. You can feel good about that. So it's kind of, it's almost too late in a way to, let's say I'm trying to lose weight. And I say, okay, I'm losing weight, and now it's kind of like, I'm not losing weight anymore. I'm at 200 pounds. And I can just say, well, what if I just make 200 pounds my goal? Then I've made it. Then I accomplished my goal, bully for me. It doesn't really hit the same, because we know that we're just kind of like lying, But I can say, I'm at 200 pounds. I can't get any further than that. I don't know what my goal was. Let me set a goal now. Say my goal is 199. Okay, then I can do a little bit more work, 199, there, now I've hit my goal. We can't just say, wherever I am now, this is the end zone. Where I'm standing currently is going to be the goal. So then I could, bye, I'm leaving. It's not, you can, of course you can. I don't think it's going to feel the way you want it to feel. Okay. The Empress is a card that needs a little self-care. The Empress is busy mothering everything else. Doesn't always pay attention to certain aspects of themselves. Okay? Let yourself feel the joy in things right now. And focus on things. Open your heart to new experiences. Say yes to a new friendship, or feel the joy in the small things. Reward yourself in the small ways that you can by paying attention to some other things in your life, taking your mind off of this for a little while. So allow yourself to feel good, and I think that'll give you a little bit of clarity. You'll understand what you want to do in this situation and what you want your goal to be. And I think you'll return to this with more energy, more enthusiasm. Okay. I feel like you're somebody who holds yourself back from investing in other things. I don't know what this is exactly, but I know that it's interconnected. I know that it's very important that you pay attention to your spiritual life, your physical life, your emotional life, because that's all part of the path. Okay? And I think that you need to spend some time to remember that and treat yourself kindly, treat yourself accordingly. Yeah. The Hanged Man is in the position of the fear, worry, and concern. The fear is that this path is going to be all sacrifice all the time, forever, that there will be no love, that there will be no celebration and no joy. Well, there won't be if you don't set a goal, if you don't set a kind of a defined goal. I know you have a goal. There's something you're trying to accomplish. I think you have to define that in terms of something measurable. Like it's a number, or it's a particular place, it's an amount. You know what I mean? Like something that you'll know when you hit it. Okay? The Hanged Man is surrender and sacrifice. The High Priestess is what you are surrendering and sacrificing to. Because, see, the Hanged Man and the High Priestess are holding hands. Okay? Holding hands in this position, they would be. But this isn't how you have it. So it kind of feels like your intuition is taking you in one direction, and yet your suffering and sacrificing has been taking you in a different direction. So there's a split, there's a separation between these two. Okay? And I wonder if that's kind of like your intuition is there, trying to lead you to your Empress life, right? To your best life, your paradise, the success, to the end zone here. But there's some disconnect from that intuition. There's something in you that is, I don't know, it's almost like we're suffering needlessly. Okay? That there's something your soul is trying to tell you. And there's that part of you that's not listening, and instead is just suffering through something, even when, as now, you're not making the progress that you're hoping to make. So what is your intuition telling you that you're not surrendering to, right? Because remember, the Hanged Man is needing to surrender to that intuition, to that divine light, to that message from Spirit. And what is the message that you're not accepting or not connecting with. I think maybe what you could be interpreting is the feeling like Spirit is, you could be confusing the intuition. You could be feeling as if Spirit wants you to sacrifice this path, to get rid of this, to abandon this path. And that's what your intuition is telling you. That's why we have this impulse to abandon this and go do anything else. But I feel as if that is your shadow mistranslating the message of the intuition. The intuition isn't telling you to abandon this and go do something more exciting. I think that's a false interpretation of the intuition. I think that's an extreme, exaggerated, interpretation. I think what your intuition is really telling you is that you need to go do something else, anything else other than this, but not abandoning this, not exaggerating that message, but saying, yes, you need to pay attention to other areas of your life in order to continue augmenting this and continue doing this work and reaching your goals that you're going to clearly define. But don't mistranslate that and say, oh, Spirit wants me to eliminate this altogether and go do something more fun. You see how it's kind of where it's almost like you're twisting her words a little bit, okay? I feel like that's what's going on between the separation of those two cards. Well, let's look at the mystery card. Maybe this will give us a clearly defined goal. Maybe it'll be a 10 of Pentacles or a 6 of Cups or something along those lines. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is the dynamics. Okay? So it really is about the speed, slowing down or speeding up. Okay? And I think that really what it's calling for is a slowdown. It's kind of right now saying less is more. And I think it's saying pay attention to other things, that need your attention so that you can come back to this with a renewed energy, with more motivation. See, this is an exhaustion. Yeah. This is a kind of a need to change something because it feels like no matter how fast you go, you're not making any progress. You're on the treadmill and you're not getting to your destination, so you run faster. You're still on a treadmill. So this card, in some ways, is representing learning to use the dynamics, learning to maybe slow down a little bit. You don't have to stop walking. You don't have to stop the treadmill, but maybe slow it down a little bit so that you can catch your breath. Your muscles can recover a little bit. You can get a more kind of clear understanding of what it is you're doing and why. And I think that this is difficult for you because you tend to go hard with things. Maybe you tend to overdo things. So it's hard for you to slow down because it feels like going slow is not going to be progress. Maybe slow is smooth, smooth is fast, This is a card of fight. This is the card of, in a way, understanding how to control your attention. And I feel like that is not just doing anything but this, abandoning this and doing anything that's stimulating. I think it has to be intentional. I think it's not just looking for a distraction or some kind of avoidance. I think it's being very purposeful and very intentional about what you're going to direct your energy toward now. That's going to help you put all of this together. You see what I mean? So this is really a very intentional move. Very intentional change to redirect a little bit of your energy to some other aspect of your life that's going to help you to refresh your energy and build up your confidence and your motivation again so that you can finish this task, this project or this work, this path. Okay. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Virgo on Mondays and Thursdays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.